G'day, welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me. So, another remote ID video. But I think maybe, possibly, I've come across something useful here. Long story short, I live in an area that's bushfire prone. We're currently having issues with holding the local authorities to account to do anything about the fire danger that we're facing. And in a nutshell, there's a road that way that we won't be able to get out because there's a matchstick forest next to it. There's a road that way we won't be able to get out because there's a matchstick forest next to it. There's a road that way we won't be able to get out because there's a matchstick forest next to it. And there's a road that way, which is the brand new road, which will probably get blocked by either smoke or trees falling from the uphill side of forest down onto the road or next to it with their crowns possibly on fire. So we're in a situation here, and we're right next to a national park. For years we've been fighting this. But that's not the point of this story, this video. This video is about something I have come across in that endeavour which may be able to help us here. Now, full disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer at all. You know, just a smartass. And what I'm saying here is not legal advice. I am going to ask you, the community, if you know anyone who is a lawyer, you have friends or family who are a lawyer, or you have cheap access to a lawyer, please pick this up or hit me up. Maybe we can work together, talk to them. This might be helpful to us. I don't know. We really need an expert. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about the unreasonableness of remote ID. Now, this may apply, there may be statutes in American law that, I don't think American law has torts, but anyway, that will have a similar, sort of cover a similar thing where, well, actually, why don't I just read this and then maybe it'll become more apparent because, like I said, not a lawyer. Let's get to this. Okay, so here we are. Now, I'm not going to go into the full, what this document is, but it is a legal document we've had put together Byra had put together at some expense. Now, I have reviewed this, assisting them, and I've asked if I can use some of this here. Let me read. To these controls deriving from the statutory construction of the statutory provision imposing the duty may be added the usual implied limitations on the exercise of a statutory discretion. Now, this is the reference to it. In all such cases, the authority must act in good faith. It cannot act merely arbitrarily or capriciously. Moreover, a person affected will obtain relief from the courts if he can show that the authority has misdirected itself in law, or that it has failed to consider the matters that it was required to consider, or has taken irrelevant matters into account. Excuse me. Even if none of these things can be established, the courts will interfere if the decision reached by the authority appears so unreasonable that no reasonable authority could properly have arrived at it. The last mentioned constraint on the exercise of discretion is one of avoidance of unreasonableness. Not only in the sense of Wednesbury unreasonableness, Associated Provincial Picture Houses Limited versus Wednesbury Corporation in 1948, that the decision is so unreasonable that no reasonable person could have arrived at it, but also in the sense used in Minister for Immigration and Citizenship versus Lee, of a decision lacking an evident and intelligible justification. And this, I think, is very important to us, because we have not been considered. We have not been, there is no nuance in the laws being proposed. It is just a blanket law. It is arbitrary. Questions of capriciousness are up in the air, but I'm not going to address them here. But it is definitely arbitrary, and it is definitely lacking in an evident and intelligible justification. Now, saying that this is for safety when you are putting the safety of the operator in jeopardy with no accounting for that, that is a lack of intelligible justification. That is arbitrary. This is possibly capricious because, one recognises there's a possibility for danger for the operator, but then, like the FAA has done in America, sort of just brushes over and says, well, you should be operating from a secure area anyway. No. Anyway, let me keep reading. This constraint of unreasonableness is derived from the framework of rationality imposed by the statute, and it reflects a limitation imputed to the legislature on the basis of which courts can say that Parliament never intended to authorise that kind of decision. Minister of Immigration and Citizenship versus Lee. This guy, this Lee fella, did a lot of fighting here. And also see at 88, which must be a reference to that same case, the legal standard of reasonableness that applies to the constraint. The legal standard of reasonableness that applies to constrain the exercise of its statutory discretion is the standard indicated by the proper construction of the statute. It is necessary to construe the statute because the question to which the standard of reasonableness is addressed is whether the statutory power has been abused. Implication of unreasonableness as a condition of the exercise of a statutory discretion is a manifestation of the general and deeply rooted common law principle of construction that... Sorry, I will start again. Implication of the unreasonableness as a condition of the exercise of a statutory discretion is a manifestation of the general and deeply rooted common law principle of construction that such decision-making authority as is conferred by statute must be exercised according to law and to reason within limits set by the subject matter, scope, and purpose of the statute. Thank you very much. That sounds like it really sort of drives home the point. The implied condition of reasonableness is not confined to why a statutory decision is made, the outcome or result, but also extends to how the statutory decision was made, so that a decision may be unreasonable if it lacks an evident and intelligible justification, or is so devoid of plausible justification that no reasonable person could have taken that course. I conclude my reading here. And I leave it up to you. What do you think of this? Comments down below. This may be a saving grace, because even if Parliament has put down an objective for CASA, similar to how Congress has for the FAA in America, this sort of may hold them up. I put this out there for you to discuss. Please come back to me, comments down below. If, we think this is a good case, a defense, or if this is useful to anyone, great. But let's I don't know, see if this goes anywhere. I'm honestly so flat out of money at the moment. I just spent all my bloody savings, like saving my cat's life. And I'm still going to be, well, not all of it, but I'm going to be hammering that for a while now because you guys ongoing care. I've had to sacrifice a lot already this year. And look, my mum's in hospital. It's not a good time for me. But this is really important, and I came across this, and if I wasn't going to actually sort of show this to you guys, I would feel like I've neglected, I've not done my due diligence to the rest of you. So I'm going to let you guys run with that and come back to me and see what you think. I can't really afford to get a lawyer and get him to look at the situation at the moment. But maybe someone else can, and that would be great. Anyway, with that, thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let's drive this one home. Make sure XJet sees this. I'll be doing the stuff. But, if anyone thinks he hasn't seen this and there's another live stream, hop it up to him, let him see it, because this may well be reflected in New Zealand law, it may well be reflected in Canadian law, in British law, and for all I know, because a lot of our law is based upon those same things, but for all I know, there could be something similar in American law too. So I know you guys tried to fight based upon the Constitution, but maybe there's something else that you could use. I don't know. Anyway, look, I thought I'd put this out there because I had to. So yeah, rock on, peace out, fly safe. I'll catch you next time.